Hey internet friends, and welcome to the virtual escape known as YouTube, a mesmerizing display in which the machine and the mind merge. With around 300 hours of video uploaded every minute and boasting an impressive 150 million hours of collective view time each day, YouTube is one of the largest search engines in the world, second to only its master, Google. Over the last decade, YouTube has emerged as a key part of the central nervous system of the internet. But over time, the technology that once united the masses, overflowing with opportunity, community, and information, morphed into a rumored tool of division, serving as a graveyard of imagination and reward system for intolerably dull and repetitive content. So how exactly did we get to this point, the brink of a boring dystopia? And where are we headed? We'll soon find out, because today we're going to discuss what the media won't tell us about YouTube. There exists a romanticized notion amongst its user base that YouTube was created for you, as a means of expressing oneself, or at least as a platform onto which an individual can upload as many cat videos as they so desire. Is that true though, this myth of great magnitude? Was YouTube created for you, the individual? The story begins with an unlikely but familiar character, Elon Musk, or more specifically, the online payment business he co-founded known as PayPal. 3 employees from PayPal's infancy would go on to create what we now know as YouTube in 2005, the online platform that would forever change the way people shared videos. A few YouTube origin stories have been circulated over the years, one involving the founders, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim at a dinner party in San Francisco, looking for a way to share footage from that night. Another story highlighted Karim's inability to find online video of the nip slip heard around the world, Janet Jackson's 2004 Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction. On paper, the biographies of YouTube's original creators are one of humble, unremarkable beginnings, which is really the problem I have with most Silicon Valley success stories. Typically, normal people don't just find themselves bumping into influential individuals and stumbling upon ample opportunities. There's more to the story that's not being told, and this odyssey in particular is missing a couple of chapters. But I will tell you what I know. The first video to reach 1 million views was a Nike advertisement. And by that time, YouTube's potential as a new media tool for old media was already fully realized. And shortly after its creation, YouTube collaborated with traditional media in promoting NBC's fall TV lineup. The same year YouTube was founded, Sequoia Capital, an investment firm, channeled $3.5 million into the startup, allowing YouTube to improve their servers and bandwidth, thereby giving them the opportunity to launch their services to the public. Sequoia Capital had already invested in Google to give the search engine its boost, though it should be stated that some of the research that led to Google's creation was already being funded by the intelligence community in order to normalize a modern mass surveillance state. You know, for homeland security purposes or whatever. In October of 2006, when YouTube only had 65 employees, the company was acquired by Google for $1.65 billion. Paying out a handsome sum to its founders. It was after this acquisition that YouTube as we now know it began to take shape. The early version of YouTube's partner program was introduced, allowing select YouTube creators to make money off of their videos by running advertisements on them. Like a delicious and tasty carrot dangling in front of the hungriest bunch you could ever imagine. And the early video makers were earning upwards of 6 figures by the time the partner program was in full swing. Notoriety and fame were no longer exclusively reserved for those who dragged themselves to auditions or sprawled out on Hollywood casting couches, because YouTube had the ability to turn unprofessional content filmed in the privacy of one's own home into viral and widespread sensations, allowing seemingly everyday individuals to accelerate into superstardom, much like Justin Bieber's rise to popularity. Of course, some of these video bloggers who were thought to be organic and genuine were later revealed to be paid actors, posing as everyday individuals documenting their lives online, but nonetheless, the internet frontier gave way to a new form of media, and fresh faces which rivaled legacy media's ability to capture the attention and shape the opinion of the masses. From the beginning, YouTube established itself as a major political influence, partnering with CNN to host the 2008 presidential debate, the trajectory of which was guided by citizen-submitted video questions, setting a precedent for future debates. Congress and the Vatican took note of YouTube's potential, both creating their official channels within the same month. Even President Obama began using YouTube for his political and social campaigns, the most famous of which were aimed at LGBT teenagers. Soon to follow was coverage of royal weddings and even the Olympics. And traditional media claimed even more territory on the new media platform by launching their own channels and exclusive content. Up until this point in YouTube's evolution, Chad Hurley had been the acting CEO of YouTube, but he was replaced by Solar Kamangar, an Iranian-American who was one of Google's original employees. A major moment for social media occurred in 2011, when a series of uprisings erupted across North Africa and the Middle East, with protesters rebelling against their respective governments. Social media served as a driving force behind the spread of revolution. Videos of young protesters mobilizing in the street were captured by smartphones and uploaded to the internet, relaying to the West what was taking place. We won't dwell on foreign intelligence agencies harnessing the power of social media to overthrow governments throughout the Arab Spring, because the point remains. YouTube continued to prove itself not only as a powerful tool of propaganda on a national level, with US election debates live-streamed on the site, but on a global level as well, with the advent of shareable online video playing a lead role on the world stage. By spring of 2013, the site was bringing in 1 billion unique visitors per month. And of those visitors, the ones who decided to create an account were automatically suggested to subscribe to channels like BuzzFeed. Yes, that's right, automatic suggestions to channels with social and political agendas. Don't question it, you bigots. In 2014, YouTube's leadership was handed to Susan Wojcicki. And you remember what I said about Silicon Valley success stories when I all but said I'm pretty sure they're total and complete fabrications? Well, that's just like my opinion, which you can take or leave. So, as the story goes, Susan rented out her garage in Menlo Park to Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who would go on to incorporate Google. Susan's sister Anne married Sergey Brin and created 23andMe, a DNA testing company that we've covered on this channel a time or two. Susan was Google's first marketing manager, and she's been credited as the person responsible for suggesting that Google purchase YouTube to begin with. As one of the most powerful women on the internet, YouTube took quite an interesting turn under Wojcicki. In recent years, YouTube released YouTube Kids, which functioned as a version of the platform specifically tailored for young audiences. YouTube Gaming followed, introducing vertical video functions and live streaming capabilities for its users. And YouTube Red launched for premium ad-free watching, which included YouTube original series and films. While new apps for keeping YouTube in the mainstream across all demographics were implemented, behind the scenes a Hegelian dialectic of sorts was taking place regarding the content uploaded and monetized on the site. Problems emerged when it was discovered that advertisements were running on content that was dubbed unsavory and even borderline, like edgy humor, shock, and gore. Political opinions not of the liberal progressive variety. And advertisements were even spotted on the YouTube Kids app, where extremely inappropriate content was being targeted at children. Outrage from mainstream media journalists followed, calling for YouTube to crack down on what could and could not be monetarily rewarded on their website, which gave advertisers all of the control in deciding what independent creators would either be rewarded or punished for across social issues, topics of war, history, and politics. Mainstream media also complained that YouTube's algorithm favored conspiracy theories, and therefore extremist content, and insisted that this issue was one of utmost importance and needed to be handled immediately. In April of 2018, frustrated by YouTube's censorship and attack on her finances, a female YouTuber allegedly opened fire at YouTube's California headquarters, where she wounded 3 people before taking her own life. Rather quickly, YouTube changed their algorithm and developed a series of vague community guidelines in which they specifically called out flat earth videos, and conflated them with 9/11 trutherism videos as types of content which would be discouraged from the website. Instead of promoting the freedom of information, YouTube implemented a system in which the approved voices of legacy media rose above independent creators. Furthermore, the livelihoods of those who originally made YouTube a thriving community were threatened, as each phase of the adpocalypse brought greater censorship, and the Disney-fied version of all video topics reigned supreme. The massive dragnet purging their platform of non-advertisement friendly material. Even educational channels documenting history have been removed without warning. Since YouTube and Google control the flow of information on the internet with their monopoly power, their censorship solutions have not been well received by the public for the most part. And two main arguments have emerged, the first being that YouTube is a private company, and they can do what they want, which is a bit problematic given how often Google meets with the White House. On the flip side, it's been pointed out that YouTube has no real competitor, and essentially functions like the public square of the internet, and therefore should be treated as a public utility that's regulated by the government. Much like how the telephone company cannot censor the conversations you have on the phone and is not necessarily liable for what you say. The argument here is that YouTube should not censor any content, within reason, anyway. And piggybacking on this suggestion is the proposal that the government should break up technology monopolies like YouTube and Google. If you're for less government, this solution is problematic because the government is once again exercising their control over a private company and involving itself in what people create and watch. And that's what the media won't tell you about YouTube. But before I wrap this up, I've got a few questions for you. Should technology remain politically neutral? Should big tech and media companies be able to merge with political parties without explicit disclosure to the general public? And if political affiliation is not disclosed on every Google or YouTube search, is that considered manipulation? You tell me, internet friends. You know I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon, because YouTube pretty much demonetizes all my videos. Bye!